National Stock Exchange of India has been actively involved with initiatives to educate the young generation of our country on the importance of financial management. One such initiative is NSE FinWiz that focuses on educating and advising the young workforce of the country on wealth management to enhance financial literacy and to empower them.
Insurance is for protection and investment is for growth.
Another program facilitated by NSE IPFT is NSE Financial Quest. This inter-school financial quiz contest goes an extra mile by educating the young students on fundamentals of finance.
On the buzzer, what is this? It's the formula for the simple interest. Simple interest is the right answer.
Under the NSE Financial Quest Base Camps banner, the program engages students around the year through workshops on various topics, projects, interactive videos and quizzes.
The KPIT bouncing checks of Pan Am.
Plus 75 on that. Plus 75.
To facilitate these two programs, NSE along with CNBC TV18 has travelled across the country to bridge the wide knowledge gap in terms of finance. In this episode of NSE FinWiz, we are all set to achieve our objectives once again by gauging young professionals in a new city.
Wealth management is very important for all the youngsters, for everybody basically. So one has to start he has to invest for his future, because his children would be there, his family would be there.
You need someone who can handhold you through the process. Someone like me who's a little bit financially, illiterate in terms of what to invest, where to invest, and all of that.
I would like to really know where should I really go to get an honest portfolio done for my actual needs.
Hello and welcome to Season 4 of NSE FinWiz powered by CNBC TV18. I'm in conversation, of course, with two experts, and this time around, let's introduce you to Harsh Rungta of harshroongta.com and, of course, Tanveer Alam of fincart.com. Thank you so much for speaking to us here at KPIT Noida, where we have a whole host of young professionals waiting to actually soak in all that you can tell them about personal finance and investment planning. My first question, of course, to you, Mr. Rungta, is we are talking about a day and age where everybody wants to have it all, whether on the professional front as well as the personal front. And you dream big. And in order to achieve big, you need to actually plan better. So talk to us about the importance of financial planning, and is there any ideal age to start? Is ever a little too late to actually go ahead and start investing?
You need to have dreams, but then you need to plan for those dreams. And you need to make sure, you need to plan for it properly. Maybe if at a current point of time the resources are not enough to satisfy all your dreams at that point of time, once you are aware that those resources are currently short, I think automatically you will start working towards making all those, dreams come true. You need to have a pact with yourself. What percentage of the money that you make is meant for your future self, and what percentage is meant for your present self? And
Tanveer, if I can bring you into the discussion, suppose a young individual were to make 70,000 rupees a month, out of which 15,000 rupees a month could go into some sort of investment vehicle. Now, I'd like to understand that given his ambitions are pretty simple. 5-year time frame, a luxury SUV, 10-15-year time frame, a modest, good in fact, 3 BHK, and eventually a retirement fund. What according to you are vehicles to consider actually parking that 15,000 rupees per month?
Now a lot of people, you said, are afraid of investing in equity market. So let me give you a small update on that. If you invest in an equity market for a period of 1 year, and this is the data taken from 93 onwards, for a period of 1 year, there is only a 60% probability you'll make money. If you increase the time horizon to 3 years, the probability goes to about 78%. On a 5-year, 85. On a 10-year basis, 100% of the time you would have made money. Investment is all about risk management. How you manage your risk, that's only important.
Now, a quick show of hands. How many of us actually go ahead and set aside an X amount monthly and have managed to track our savings or investment in that manner? How many of us actually go ahead and invest in mutual funds or in the equity markets directly at the moment? How many of us look at real estate or gold as vehicles to park investment? I'd like to bring this back again to our experts. Mr. Rungta, if I can ask you this. What about real estate and gold in the current scenario? We did hear Mr. Tanveer indicate that, mutual funds continue to be his top favorite. But talk to us about gold and real estate as investment opportunities.
First, I think when people talk of real estate as an investment, people tend to think of their house that they stay in as real estate investment. The house that you stay in is not really an investment. At least as far as we are concerned, we don't count it as an investment. It has value. Come to a crunch, you can of course sell it and move into a rental premises. Apart from the house that you stay in, how many people invest in real estate?
Second, third house.
Okay, so that's just one hand,
Two people, yeah.
or two people, right? Of the two people who raise their hands, have you invested in under construction property or have you bought property that is ready? Okay, so my poser to you is this: when you invest in under construction property, you are not investing in, it's not real estate. Okay, you are actually lending money to a builder against promise that at someday, hopefully, he will actually deliver that product to you. The risk that you take in under construction property is huge. If you are not getting a good return, you should not be looking at it. And there is a dash of gold.
Correct.
So there is definitely space in your portfolio for gold. How you invest in it is a different issue.
Matter, yeah.
I mean, physical gold makes no sense.
ETFs.
But yes, ETFs, or you have sovereign gold bonds, or you have a gold monetization scheme. Now there are plenty of options available.
Mr. Rungta, that kind of bursting the real estate bubble for a lot of us and indicating that a mixed portfolio is a balanced portfolio is what's ideal going ahead. In fact, let me actually throw your focus to a query asked by Richa Bakshi, who's the head of PR in the marketing department at KPIT. Now, very categorically, we've asked our audience to actually split their goals into short-term, medium-term and long-term. And what Richa is looking at is buying her dream house. The amount she wants to accumulate is about 1.5 crore. On a monthly basis, she puts aside about 40 to 50,000 rupees. That's what she can put aside. So that automatically makes it a significant investment per month. Her time horizon is 3 to 4 years. Tanveer, how exactly should she go about investing to achieve this goal?
So is it the first house that you'll be owning or it's the second house?
First one.
Okay, so if it's the first house that you could possibly owning, then by all means go. If you're doing SIP, what will happen is that in a period of about 5 years, that amount that you're investing, which on a rough thumb rule I'm talking about, will grow up to approximately, if you're investing 40-50,000 or 6 lakhs a year, 5 lakh or 30 lakh, it will be close to about 60-70 lakh rupees. Okay, that is what you will get. The balance you can fund through a loan, and if it's a second home that you are technically taking, but not realistically, so you could actually take a tax benefit out of that. Okay, the entire interest and the principal amount that you possibly get can get tax exemption on it.
Now, let me ask Gesu Singh to actually step up, because he is a senior executive in the admin department, and the question really is how to own your own business when you want to accumulate close to 40 lakh of rupees in the next 5 years. But the question really is, on a monthly basis, only rupees 5,000 can be set aside. So you're looking at significantly high returns. How would you kind of, guide Gesu Singh to go ahead with this kind of investment planning?
This would be extremely difficult in that short time horizon. If you increase the time horizon a little bit, perhaps we can help you there.
That
But
would
if you
actually-
have the time horizon of 5 years, I said in 5 years the power of compounding doesn't work.
Thank you so much, Keshu. It's time to slip into a quick break right here on NSE FinWiz. But stay tuned because we're in conversation with Mr. Rungta and Mr. Alam, and there's a whole host of discussion on taxation on the other side. Welcome back. You've tuned in to NSE FinWiz powered by CNBC TV 18, and we're in conversation with Harsh Rungta and Tanveer Alam. Now, without further ado, let me throw the spotlight onto a very important question that arises amongst every young professional's mind. How do you understand the pay slip, especially when you're talking to your HR about structuring that salary? How do you go about structuring that salary wisely to ensure that you are eligible for all the tax deductions?
I think most large companies, there is not too much of an element of structuring that they would allow. But some of the simpler things, for example, if you're staying with your parents, right, and your parents are not earning, let's just assuming that your parents themselves don't pay high tax, then you can actually, anyway you contribute to the household expenditure. Instead of contributing it from your post-tax income, you contribute it as rent to them. They will not get taxed in their hands because they don't have taxable income, and you will get a deduction or exemption. Another thing that you could now look at, and it's slightly controversial, which probably might come up later in the program, is that should you ask your employer to contribute to the NPS directly, right? Now up to 10% of the contribution to the NPS by the 10% of your basic contributed by the employer is not taxed in your hands. That's an option that you could look at if your employer allows you that option.
Fair enough. Now, how do you actually look at planning tax for the financial year? How soon do you start? Because usually it's March, February. When do you actually
From
begin?
1st April and whenever you get the new pay slip from first day onwards. By those simple restructuring, actually you have planned and saved a lot of tax, or planned your tax saving much better. 2, inevitably what happened, we even file the income tax return on the last day. Okay, this is typically happens because we are running, we're busy in our day-to-day activity, which leaves less time. But actually this is coming at the cost of money. 2, in the last moment, inevitably you will buy an insurance for tax saving or invest in a product which is not very productive.
Okay, if I can ask you to compare, because a lot of us begin investing when you look at how to save on taxes, right? If I ask you to compare between, say, an ELSS or investing into infra bonds or investing into like a PPF account, what would you actually say ranks, 1, 2, 3, 4 even?
If you invested in PPF over the last 15 years, PPF is a 15-year product, and today suppose you are trying to withdraw, you would have got approximately 34.5 lakh rupees. If you invested the same amount of 1 lakh in an equity-linked savings scheme over the last 15 years, what would have been the return amount? Any guess for that? 60? Who said 80? Approximately a crore. The worst performing ELSS scheme would have been at about 50 lakh rupees.
Let me in fact throw the spotlight on a query raised by Siddhant Mishra, who is Associate Consultant in the Oracle Transportations Management Department at KPIT. Now, very clearly would like to know what kind of investment options should he consider, especially if at all in the mutual fund and equity market, when he wants to save taxes but minimize any risk at the same time.
See, just to make it a little bit mutual fund simple, and I've used the baking example. Now suppose if I go to a pastry shop, I like a beautiful cake, and that cake is 1000 rupees, and I only have got 100 rupees in my pocket. Okay, and still I want to eat it. What do? I go convince 10 of my friends, okay, let's pool it 100 rupees each, okay, make it 1000 rupees, buy the cake, divide it into 10 pieces and eat it. That's what mutual fund gives you. It can allow you to invest with a small amount of money. Coming back to your tax example, tax saving. Tax saving, there's only one product which is called equity linked saving schemes. Okay. Please do not confuse with ULIP or insurance scheme. It's a mutual fund scheme, equity linked saving schemes. Now, if you invest for a period of 3 years, as I said, the probability of making money is only 78%. But if you increase the time horizon 5, 7, 10 years, most likely you will create a huge amount of wealth and you will save tax also.
Let me quickly draw the spotlight on your 80C/80D deductions that we were mentioning earlier. And a lot of people here want to know, for example, Neeraj Chaudhary from the Financial IES Oracle department, very clearly, is insurance, life and medical, mandatory as a tool for investing? And what would you have to look at when you consider either investing into life insurance or medical insurance?
See, life insurance is a income replacement strategy. Okay, God forbid something happens to you, if you have a responsibility of family, children and all, it should be taken as a pure life insurance. Do not make insurance and investment together. It's like drinking and driving. It doesn't go well. Okay, so what happens? Insurance, you should buy only term insurance. Now, coming back to a health insurance aspect, a lot of us, we do a mistake, especially working with corporates. You get a corporate insurance cover, group medical insurance. And inevitably, you do a mistake of not buying a health insurance cover at an early stage. Okay? The more you buy at that early stage, the more beneficial for you.
The focus was on taxation and financial planning, but now it's time to slip into a quick break right here on NSE FinWiz. But come back, we have a whole host of personal finance queries to answer on the other side. We're back on NSE FinWiz, powered by CNBC TV 18 at KPIT in Noida, where we have a whole host of personal finance queries that will be answered by Tanveer Alam and Harsh Rungta. Now, let me throw the floor open to questions. What would you like our experts to answer on how exactly to manage your money?
Hi, this is Ompreet. I want to ask a question regarding home loan repayment. So the question is, what is the best option to pay the repayment of the home loan, to reduce the tenure or to increase the EMI amount?
Okay. First of all, we should identify why we are repaying this. Okay. So, and if it's second home or is it the first home? First home. First home, you get interest payment which is only limited to a certain amount. Okay. Now, there the cost of fund will reduce marginally. Okay, for the tax amount. So, if you're earning more than the net tax that you're paying, sorry, net interest that you're paying, then you can continue the loan. Okay, but if you're not investing aggressively, you're parking your money in fixed deposit or a conventional product like fixed deposit insurance or a savings bank account, then you should start paying the loan. One option is paying one shot and finishing it off. If you have to partially prepay and you have some amount left, the best would be to not to reduce the EMI but reduce the tenure of the loan.
Thank you so much for your question. One final question on this episode of NSE FinWiz. If I can have the microphone to him, please.
Hi sir, I am Anant. I have a query that if you want to invest in equity, is it more beneficial that we choose to take a franchisee of a broker rather than directly investing?
Okay. See, unfortunately in India, the old stockbroker will encourage trading and not investment. Okay. My earnest request and urge, please do not trade. 95%, perhaps more, 98, 99% of the people lose money by trading, and so please do not trade and risk your money.
Mr. Harsh Rungta and Tanveer Alam, thank you so much for joining us on NSE FinWiz, and all of young professionals here at KPIT Noida. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for watching.
Before this session, before the conversation, I knew nothing about investment, but I think I'm gonna be investing a lot in equity and a little more understand a little more about mutual funds.
This entire program has been very informative. The best part about this program was it was interactive. It gave a lot of knowledge to a layman like me who does not know how to invest and where to invest.
focus. Ideate, innovate, enable.